Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Chattanooga, and happy Mother's Day to all you wonderful folks out there. Everybody at home as well. Let's just join in together and have a wonderful time. You can rise and shine and greet your neighbor. Come on, let's do it. Just the way you are. I am not afraid to love you. And I am not afraid to show my heart. I am not afraid to love you. Just the way you are. And I am not afraid to love you. And I am not afraid to show my heart. And I am not afraid to love you. Just the way you are. And it's about love, it's all about love. It's about love, it's all about love. It's about love, it's all about the love. It's about love, it's all about love. And I am not afraid to love you. And I am not afraid to show my heart. And I am not afraid to love you. Just the way you are. And it's about love, it's all about love. 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 I am not afraid to love you. Just the way you are. We are friends here. There are no strangers when you walk inside these doors. Oh, we welcome you to linger in our family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers when we walk inside these doors. We welcome you to linger in our family of love, and we'll hold you in our hearts the way you are. Good morning, fam.
Good morning. Thank you for that. Thank you. Isn't it a wonderful way to start out the day with hugs? I mean, they just kind of lift you up, don't they? Carry us forward. Well, thank you for joining us this morning, and live streamers, thank you for being with us. We appreciate you and want to thank you for this Mother's Day. The sun that's shining and the joy, and just share it with the folks in the comments section where you're from, and a little bit about maybe who you are, and make comments, throughout the service. We appreciate that, and that's part of being here with us. So, and thank everybody for being here as we celebrate Mother's Day. And this is always one of my favorite services because Reverend Doug just has a little different spin on it than most. So I really enjoy hearing what he has to say. We want to honor all the women, all the mothers in the room today and on live stream. And we want to honor the mothers in our past and our present, no matter where they've been or what they're doing today. We know that they're filled with joy, and we love them for bringing us into the world and giving us life. So thank you for that, Mom. Oh, my name is Reverend Faye Ann Schmidt. I'm the Associate Minister here at Unity of Chattanooga, and for that I am also grateful. Thank you for that gift. The daily word today had a couple lines that I really appreciated for our mothers. And I send you love. I say a prayer of thanks for your presence in my life, for the sacrifices you made to give me the opportunity to grow and learn. You taught me the power of love and gentleness and of the strength found in giving. I send you thoughts of infinite love and peace as I join with others in gratitude and joy today. And from Proverbs 31:26, I love this. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. And thank you, Mother, for all the gifts that you have given me, and the encouragement to grow, and giving the 3 daughters that you had that independence to be who they are, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. And we begin the service today by lighting the Christ candle to remind us that we are each an individual expression of God with our own individual light. These flowers are in honor of Mother's Day to show our appreciation from all of us who have been blessed by the many gifts that we have all received by the special mothering in our presence. And let's begin our service today with prayer. We turn our awareness in and let us relax. Relax our beings. We are being called today to open up to that spirit within ourselves that we call the divine feminine. The divine feminine is that aspect of God that loves you. The love of God is all providing. The love of God heals and restores you. The love of God watches and protects us. The love of God guides you and shows you the way. And the love of God is transformative. And we are blessed. So as we begin our prayer, let us join together our hearts and our minds. And we open our soul and allow God to be the divine presence of the divine love that our soul desires most. And this Mother's Day, God, that mother, the mother in whatever form she came, whether she was a birth mother, whether she was the neighbor, a relative, somebody that just loved us, maybe the father in our lives. That mother instinct, we thank you for it. For we know that is how we grow and how we live. And in this presence, this divine love, let us bring it forth in ways that we did not know were possible. Let us bring it forth that we may also receive the mothering today, but we may be a mother. Maybe there's a child in our family, a neighbor, somewhere in our lives that just needs that little bit of love, that extra dose. Let us reach out. Let us be strong enough to give to those we don't even know. For we know that love is what heals. And we know that that mothering love is what brings us together, that nurtures us, that grows us. And we thank you for the mothers in our lives, whether they are close to us or living at a distance. We know their love. We feel their love. And let us love, just love. Thank you, God. And so it is. And so it is. Amen.
Okay. Way over yonder is a place that I know where I can find shelter from the hunger and cold and the sweet taste and good life so easily found away over yonder. That's where I'm bound. I know when I get there, the first thing I'll see is my mother shining, smiling right beside me. And then the trouble's gonna lose me, worry and leave me behind, and I'll stand up proudly in true peace of mind, talking about a way over yonder. There's a place that I've seen in a garden of wisdom from a long away dream. Oh, chasing good life so easily found, and way over yonder, that's where I'm bound. Oh, way over yonder, that's where I'm bound. Oh, way over yonder, that's where I'm
Yeah. Landis, you always nail it, baby. That's great.
Try not to choke next time.
Yeah. You know, I get choked up sometimes in prayers, you know? Yeah, wow. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. You know, it was 115 years ago today in Grafton, West Virginia. A lady by the name of Anna Garvis walked up to the altar in her Methodist church and put a huge pail of carnations there in the memory of her mother who loved carnations. She said a few words, not very many, and that simple honoring of her mother spread like wildfire, as it should. I always thought it was Hallmark that started Mother's Day. But it wasn't. It started in a small rural church in the Appalachian Mountains and became so popular that within 5 years, almost every state was celebrating it. And 2 years after that, Woodrow Wilson declared the second Sunday in May Mother's Day. And it all started in a gathering just like this. Today, on Mother's Day, we have the opportunity to send cards, maybe make a precious phone call to mom living a ways away. Or if we're fortunate and our moms are here, we can go out to dinner and tell her personally that we love her and thank her for all that she did for us. And for all of those mothers who are not with us now but are still in our hearts, we can reflect on those memories and feel their presence again. Now, not all of our moms were perfect, but we can choose to see the good. And we can choose to see the effort and the love and the things that they did for us. A simple prayer will do it. Simply focus on God and then give thanks for your mother. Bring her to mind. See her at her best. Perhaps a memory of some special occasion that you both shared. And thank her for all that she did, giving you a start in life. And then simply wish her well on her ongoing journey. She'll hear that prayer and thank you in her own way. You know, it wasn't always easy for moms, and for those of you who are mothers in the audience right now, you know it's not easy. It pulls on your heartstrings sometimes. It takes everything that you've got to see the best in the circumstances in your life and in those little ones that are so dear and yet so sometimes drive you so crazy. I want to share with you this morning a story that Karen Wheeler tells of her reflections at a lunch meeting with a young friend. Here's what she says. Time is running out for my young friend. We are sitting at lunch when she casually mentions that she and her husband are thinking of starting a family. We're taking a survey, she says jokingly. Do you think I should have a baby? It will change your life, I say carefully, keeping my tone neutral. I know, she says, no more sleeping in on Saturdays, no more spontaneous vacations. But that's not what I mean at all. I look at my young friend trying to decide what to tell her. I want her to know that what she will never learn in childbirth classes. I want to tell her that the physical wounds of childbearing heal, but that becoming a mother will leave her with an emotional wound so raw that she will be forever vulnerable. I consider warning her that she will never read a newspaper again without asking, what if that was my child? That every plane crash, every fire will haunt her. That when she sees pictures of starving children, she will wonder if anything could be worse than watching your child die. I look at her carefully manicured nails and her stylish suit and think that no matter how sophisticated she is, becoming a mother will reduce her to the primitive level of a mother bear protecting her cub. That an urgent call of, "Mom," will cause her to drop that souffle or her best crystal without a moment's hesitation. I feel that I should warn her that no matter how many years she has invested in her career, she will be professionally derailed by motherhood. She might arrange for childcare, but one day she'll be going into an important business meeting and she will think about her baby's sweet smell. She will have to use every ounce of discipline to keep from running home, just to make sure her child is all right. I want my friend to know that everyday decisions will no longer be routine. That a 5-year-old boy's desire to go into the men's room rather than at the women's at McDonald's will become a major dilemma. That right there in the midst of clattering trays and screaming children, issues of independence and gender identity will be weighed against the prospect that a child molester may be lurking in the restroom. However decisive she may be at the office, she will second guess herself constantly as a mother. I see some nods. Looking at my attractive friend, I want to assure her that eventually she will shed the pounds of pregnancy, but she will never feel the same about herself. That her life, now so important, will be less value to her once she has a child, and that she would give it up for a moment to save her offspring, but will also begin to hope for more years, not to accomplish her own dreams, but to watch her child accomplish his or hers. I want her to know that a cesarean scar or shiny stretch marks are badges of honor. My friend's relationship with her husband will change, but not in the ways that she thinks. I wish she could understand how much more you can love a man who is always careful to powder the baby, or who never hesitates to play with his son or daughter. I think she should know that she will fall in love with her husband again for reasons she would now find very unromantic. I wish my friend could sense the bond she will feel with women throughout history who have tried desperately to stop war and prejudice and drunk driving. I hope she will understand why I can think rationally about most issues, but become temporarily insane when I discuss the threat of war to my children's future. I want to describe to my friend the exhilaration of seeing your child learn to hit a baseball. I want to capture for her the belly laugh of a baby who's touching the soft fur of a dog for the first time. And I want her to taste the joy that is so real that it hurts. Well, my friend's quizzical look makes me realize that tears have formed in my eyes. You'll never regret it, I finally say. And then I reach across the table, squeeze my friend's hand, and offer a prayer for her and for me, and for all the mere mortal women who stumble their way into this holiest of callings. Mother's Day. You know, as I look back on my life, one of the greatest difficulties that mothers face, that all mothers face, especially single moms, and one of the biggest challenges we face today in our society is how do we balance the needs of children, family, career, social life, material desires, without burning out or going crazy. You know, my mom worked in a local hospital running their lab. She was gone at 6 in the morning before I got up and back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon before I got home from school. And yet that was almost the beginning of her day. Because when she got home, she would fix meals, she would do laundry, and do all the things that moms are supposed to do when little kids get home. At least according to Leave It to Beaver. And then start all over again the next day before dawn. When I look at that schedule, and I look at some of the single moms that I've known, my gosh, I mean, the energy that you have to put forth in something like that, and it comes from one place and one place only. It comes from a deep love inside. Nobody could pay you to do that job if you didn't absolutely love it, but you do. And you go on day after day. You know, even with everything else she was doing, my mom had time to pay attention to some of the important little things that every little guy needs when he's growing up. On Sunday morning, it was the Presbyterian church across town. And I can remember that she'd insist that I polish my shoes the night before. And when tying my tie and straightening my jacket that morning, she'd say something like, "Okay, honey, we're going to church and you're going to like it and things are going to be just fine. But I don't want to go to church. Dad doesn't go to church." Well, when you're old enough, she'd say, and you have a family of your own, you can choose for yourself. But today, we're going to church. Now march. Well, I did reluctantly at first, and that's where I first learned about Jesus and the things that he did. And I fell in love with the idea of a greater spiritual life and a closer relationship to God. And I can remember thinking, even as a little guy, you know, I want to be like Jesus. I want to have that connection that he had. And if it wasn't for my mother, I probably never would have walked into that church. And I think a large part of the reason that I'm here today in this particular role has a lot to do with my mother straightening my necktie and both of us going to church on Sunday. As I was growing up, our family had limited resources, but my mom still tried a number of things to see where my interests lie. You know, every child is different, as mothers know. Well, ballet lessons at 5 were a flop. I didn't like playing with girls. Accordion lessons in grade school never worked very well. I just didn't like to practice, and I was always looking out the window at the other boys playing baseball in the sand lot next door. And she noticed that. And when Little League baseball tryouts came around, she made sure that I was there. I liked baseball. I was pretty good at it right from the beginning, and she never hesitated to be a shuttle driver to the games across town. And in the championship game, when I was trying to steal home to make the winning run and was thrown out at the plate, inconsolable, my mom came up afterwards and she said, "Honey, that ump was wrong. I had a better view of it. You were safe. You won the game." and ice cream helped heal the wound. She was a den mother for my Cub Scout pack, always with interesting projects and games every week. And when badges and arrow points were handed out at the honor ceremonies, she was always standing proudly in the back, camera in hand. But as I began to grow up in middle school, I was a pretty sickly kid. In 6th grade, I weighed probably 60, 65 pounds, something like that. I was the kid that all the bullies picked on. And this is back in the 50s. 1950s, by the way, not 1850s. My mother went to all the doctors, and I took all the pills, and nothing seemed to work. And every winter, my lungs would contract with asthma, and believe it or not, I just about died. Well, it finally came to a head. By that time, I was in Boy Scouts, enjoying the activities, growing through the ranks and earning merit badges. But finally, one day, I said to my mom and dad, I'm not going to go very far in Boy Scouts because I can't even do a chin-up. You see, there was this personal fitness merit badge that you had to get in order to progress in the ranks towards Eagle Scout. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a pull-up because I just physically wasn't strong enough. Well, shortly after that, I remember my mother talking to my grandmother, and I kind of came in late around the corner to the conversation, just in time to see the tears streaming down my mom's cheeks. And I heard my grandmother say, honey, just try it. It'll be okay. What she was recommending to my mother was a chiropractor. Now, in the 50s, a chiropractor was portrayed as the next thing to a witch doctor. When we walked into his office, of course, I didn't know the difference, and I didn't know anything about the medical profession, but I could see that my mom was scared. I think she expected to see raven feathers or skulls or crystal balls or God knows what else. After all, she worked in a hospital with the medical doctors, and she knew what they said about chiropractors in those days. He was as big as a house. He could have been a nose guard for the Bears. But he had a gentle and reassuring presence about him as we sat down and he talked to us. And my mom explained the details of my health. And I just sat there, it was in the wintertime, just wheezing, because I really couldn't breathe very well. So he recommended and explained a few non-invasive preliminary tests to see what was going on. And for those of you who've been to chiropractors, you know that little meter that they run down your back, to check for whatever they check for. And my mom said, okay, but I could see that she was nervous and she was upset. So we did the tests with the meter, and I'm sure x-rays, but I don't remember that. And when he was done, he looked at my mom and asked if I'd ever had a bad fall. Well, she explained that when I was 2 or 3, just beginning to get around by myself, I was playing with a toy truck on the cellar stairs. The cellar stairs did not have a backing on it, and I fell through, landed on the concrete, and was unconscious for several hours. That was the first I'd heard that story. He said that there was an old injury in my neck that was impinging on the nerves that was causing the condition, and he felt confident that it could be corrected at this stage of my growth with some repeated treatments. And then he looked at me and he said, have you ever seen a garden hose with a kink in it? Well, that's what a little kid in the 50s knows all about. He said, well, no water comes out of it, does it? I said, no. And he said, well, that's what's going on in the back of your neck. Your brain, or your command center, military reference there, because in the 50s, it was all military for young kids. He says that command center sends messages to your body through a series of nerves in your neck, and back down to your body, and that's how they communicate, and that's how you grow. And for you, your body and your command center aren't talking very well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that kink out. What do you say? And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, okay, Doc." Because that's the way I talk. My mother was beside herself. She didn't know what to do. Again, she had medical training. She was with doctors, medical doctors all the time. And with all the medical bills that she'd incurred for me up to this time, and now this, she just didn't quite know how to deal with it all. So anyways, there were 2 rooms. She was in the outside room. There was a treatment room, and I went in there. He did several treatments, adjustments they call them. And when I walked out and my mother was there, the doctor looked at me, and like I say, my mother was right there, and he said, "So, how do you feel?" And I looked at him and I said, "Man, I feel great. This is good. No wheezing, no nothing." And I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to play football." Tears were streaming down her face. Well, the treatments continued over the next few years and gradually tapering off. I got bigger and healthier. The bullies stopped picking on me. And I got my personal fitness merit badge. And I still have the picture of my mom pinning the Eagle Award on my Scout uniform at the awards ceremony. For every one of us, mother or father, who's had a child in trouble and you've done everything that you know how to do without success, and then tried something radical, something you'd never thought of, something out of the box, and it works. You know the feeling of relief and incredible joy that it brings. And as I stand here today, I can tell you that I'm still grateful that she was willing to take that extra out-of-the-box step. But there were troubled waters ahead. As a healthy, strong, and growing teenager, now playing football and wrestling with a lot of energy, and of course the hormones kicking in, I was, let's just say, a bit headstrong and perhaps a little bit too willful. Kind of like that young bull who's snorting and pawing the ground and wants his share of the herd, that sort of thing. When I got my driver's license, I drove too fast. And what happens in a small town when you drive too fast? You get a ticket, right? And then the local judge calls your mother. Not good. My family and my upbringing was typical New England Protestant, which means anything that's fun is forbidden. You don't do it. No drinking, no carousing, and on the weekends, be home at midnight. I'd roll in at 2:30 with a little alcohol on my breath, and there was Mom waiting. It was horrible. It's the concept of roots and wings. Whether it's a son or whether it's a daughter, there's a time when they want their independence. They want to push past the boundaries, but don't have the best judgment about the potential risks or consequences to their actions. At best, it's a difficult time, and at its worst, it can be heartbreaking. In those days, I can remember lying awake at night in my bed thinking, I can't stand this. My mother's driving me nuts. I got to get out of here. And my mother would be praying, please, God, protect him and show him the right way. There was quite a bit of tension between us during those last 2 years in high school, and then it was over. I was off to college, then a business career, marriage, my own family moving around the country, never really resolving or healing those late high school issues. Well, 3 decades later, when I decided to go into ministry and had been accepted in Unity's ministerial program, I thought, I better call my mother and tell her about this. So I called her and I said, Mom, I just wanted to tell you that I've decided to make a career change. I've decided to go into the ministry and pursue that, and I think it's the right thing for me. Well, all the tension in her voice that I'd felt from her in the years since high school just seemed to melt away. We had one of the most incredible conversations that I'd ever had with her. And what I understand now is that all that tension in her voice was concern. It was concern for me. So when I said, I'm going to ministerial school, what she heard was, he's okay. He made it. I can relax now. Now, she never drank, but maybe that day she did. Just one, thank you. How many people do you know that can see the Christ light in a wayward son or daughter when nobody else can see it? Well, mothers can, and my mothers could. And even though we had years and years of tension, it was that power in her that always saw the best, no matter what. And when I worked in Silent Unity, Unity's 24-hour prayer ministry, during ministerial school, 95% of the calls were from women, and almost all of those calls were mothers praying for their children, grandmothers praying for their children and grandchildren, and great-grandmothers praying for some little child somewhere. Just about every call was something about healing, something about relationships, something about asking help for a child. That's the incredible presence, love, and dedication that moves through every mother. Are they perfect? No, not at all. We all have our stuff. Every mother has her stuff because her parents in her time had their stuff. They did the best they possibly could, given the times, what they had to deal with, and what was going on in their lives. Our mothers gave us the greatest gift we could ever have. They gave us life. And they gave us either a boot in the pants or enough to get going so that we could have our own life. They did their jobs, and they did it well. And it's our job now to go back and to honor them. Honor every trial that they went through, every thought of love that they ever had. And so this morning, I want to say to my mother and to all the mothers out there, thanks, Mom. Let's take a moment and just think about those things. As we usually do, I want you to take a deep infilling breath while I blow my nose. And bring up a picture of your mom. If she's with you this morning, just squeeze her hand. If she's a ways away, just know that you'll be calling. And if she's no longer with us, bring up a cherished memory, a time when you were together and you could feel that love, that guidance. So in this quiet moment, we once again reflect. Simply know that our mothers are God's way of saying, I love you. Mothers are God's way of giving you the guidance. Mothers are God's way of taking you by the hand, showing you right from wrong, maybe even taking you to church on Sunday. So in your heart of hearts right now, just simply say, thanks, Mom. Thanks for all you do. So it is. Amen.
And I am not afraid to love you. I am not afraid to show my heart. I am not afraid to love you just the way you are. Oh, I am not afraid to love you. I am not afraid to show my heart. I am not afraid to love you just the way you are.
Thank you, Landis. Thank you, Reverend Doug, for your message this morning and sharing your personal story.
Thanks, Steve.
This is a time where we get to serve and provide for our fellowship, continuation of what we do here and what we do out in the world. And as you consider your gift today, your love offering, we will bless them in a minute. And as you're thinking about that, I want to read a little bit on from the Daily Word. It's from Saturday, May 14th, called Generous. And the affirmation is, the love of God expresses through my generous heart. And part of the reading, the nature of love is to give, and give abundantly. God is love, and I am that love in expression. So do all things in divine love. Bless us. So as we hold our gifts in our hands and we know that divine love through us blesses and multiplies. So let's join together in our affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance.
To the mothers, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. They're also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I'll watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah. Say everybody.
Satchmo Bats. By the way, that's Penny's favorite all-time song. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. So we give thanks for these tithes and these blessings, so freely given from the heart. And we know that they go forth this very moment through us to all those people that we know, to our friends, to our family, to our loved ones. Going forth to bless, to honor, to love each and every one. And from our hearts to the world, we say, thank you, God. So it is. Amen. Well, on this Mother's Day, we have a special gift. We want these flowers to go to the mother this morning with the oldest child. So what?
That's a trick. You gotta tell it. You gotta tell it now.
So will all the mothers please stand up? If you've been a caregiver. Okay. If you have a child under the age of 20, please sit down. If you have a child under the age of 30, please sit down. It's getting thin. If you have a child under the age of 40, please sit down. If you have a child under the age of 50, please sit down. If you have a child under the age of 60, please sit down. This is yours. Oh, that's so great. Oh, and by the way, we have a special thing for you to carry them in. Perfect. God bless.
Yeah.
Good morning, it's announcement times. I want to invite our board president, Mona Petrie, to come up and Petro, I'm sorry, it's like Schmidt. And she has two announcements for us, so please. Welcome.
Well, good afternoon. I wanted to give you all an update on a couple of the initiatives that we've been working on. One is the building fund. I want to thank everybody. We're so grateful from the board. We've reached over $10,000. We have a team of We're looking all the time for some space. So if you have any ideas or you know of something that you think would be a good fit for us, please see Shannon or myself, and we will love to drive by there to see if it would be something that we would be able to utilize going forward. So reach out to us. The next announcement that I wanted to make is our homeless outreach. The latter part of May, we're going to go to the homeless camp that's over on, I believe it's on 11th Street. And we're going to share food, outreach, things like that with them. But I found an interesting fact about the homeless I wanted to share with you. And this comes from the Homeless Coalition in Chattanooga. Many people seem to believe homeless can be stereotyped into panhandler, the beggar, the bum. In fact, homelessness does not conform to any stereotype. The homeless among us are our neighbors, our coworkers, our families, and our friends. They are victims of circumstances which have resulted in a condition of homelessness. We here at Unity, we walk the talk, and I think us reaching out to them is something that would just greatly benefit our community. So, if you have any items, clothing, personal items, anything that you can donate, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you want to meet me in the back and you would like to volunteer to outreach to these people that need our assistance, please see me and I'll send out an email and keep you updated. And if you have any questions, just see me afterwards, and I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mona. Appreciate it. I love to play with people with big hearts, and to collect the building fund of $10,000 is really incredible, and I just love you folks. Laura Noyes is offering a fabulous thing on 10:30 Sunday mornings. If you've not come a little early and done the move stuff with her, treat yourself. Come a little early, 10:30. It's just a fun thing, and it gets us moving. And on Tuesday and Thursday mornings on Facebook, 7 a.m. She is an early riser. Is that, I don't know. And that's called Dancing Our Prayers. How appropriate. So think of your prayers as you're dancing. Bring them with you and dance them out. You're sending energy out into the universe. And it's a wonderful, wonderful gift. We also have another midweek spiritual boost. That is our midweek Faith Lift podcast with Shannon and Rev Doug on Facebook page every Wednesday around 4 o'clock. They are such fun and feed off each other, and just you never know where it's going to go. That's the thing. You can be surprised. But have fun and join them. If you'd like to become a member of Unity of Chattanooga, Rev Doug is putting together a new membership class. It'll be on Zoom sometime here in the near future. And you are also welcome to attend if you just want to learn more about Unity. You want a little refresher course. It's been a while since you've listened, and join us. Okay, this is important because this community room has been rented to someone else for the next 2 Sundays. We will be meeting at the River Park where we met before we came here. It's a nice, wonderful, out in the open air there on the river. Tennessee River Park. What is that off? 153? Anacola. There you go. And
by the dam. Right by the dam.
Right.
Amnicola Highway,
Okay.
and near the dam.
Excellent. Pavilion 2. Bring your folding chair and your cup of coffee. And I have it that I'm speaking next week. I'll be there. Okay, as we bring this to a close today, thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your hearts and honoring your mothers in our lives. Let's stand, join hands, and sing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, in oneness all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And remember on this Mother's Day, be sure to tell your mother, thanks, Mom. I love you. Have a great day.